Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Tripoli here, back from the Lord Small video. In today's video, guys, we have KVK Part 1. This may be the only part for KVK. It was very eventful, but at the same time, I think I can fit most of it into all in one video. As you can see, I'm bringing my solo trap out of shield. It's a bit bigger than it used to be. It's like 168 million at this point. I tried doing some changes and trying to amp up the stats, amp up the troops, add all T2 comp, see what would happen. About I think 2.2 million T2 infantry, 3 million T2 cav, and 3 million T2 range, and that's all I did. I deleted all the rest of the troops, and I wanted to see how it would work. But while the solo trap's out of shield, we've got this going on in the bottom left corner. We're waiting for a solo on there, but we're going to look at this guy, EML Rangers, who's 193 million. Look at this. He ports out as all these arrows come into him, and he caps a leader. Look at this. This guy didn't even get a change gear. And boom, capped just like that. Now, had this guy been able to, change gear, I think he probably full countered this reinforcement trap here, but had he been able to switch gear, he might have been a little bit closer and would have hurt him pretty bad. I think he would have been pretty close getting the burn. But this guy does have some decent gear, and he was able to cap this guy pretty, I would say, fairly easily. It wasn't all that great, but of course he did get the cap. So, moving on, it looks like we've got ROD coming in for a rally on Mr. Johnny 4. Johnny 4 is a lower Mike Castle, who seems to be in a pickable situation, who's possibly got Fury. But, it could be the case where this guy's got some troops on him, and, he might get absolutely sloshed. So reinforcements are coming into Johnny 4. We're going to see what's going to happen here. EML Rangers ports back to the same exact position that he was at. It's a good position. He's got all his buddies down there. They can reinforce him if they come in for a second rally and whatnot. And we look kind of at Johnny 4's profile, and we see this gear. We see his might. He doesn't really look like that great of a castle. I'm not really all that impressed by him. So ROD is trying to get other guys, I believe, from a different kingdom into this kingdom here, trying to get them all together to join this rally to come at this John 4 guy. And we're going to see exactly what happens. Now, at this particular time, I saw the castle. I'm like, 257 million might with the kind of kills he has and the kind of gear. I really don't think he's baiting. I kind of looked at the stats. I'm like, this is iffy whether he's baiting or not. But as you can see, we got CND porting over as well. CND, I believe, was the guild that just came after EML here, and I think they want to test this guy's base one more time, because they think after that rally that had no gear on it, doing that much damage, I think that possibly they can do another rally, come in, inflict a bunch of damage, maybe even get the burn off to rescue their leader. So that's exactly what they're about to do here. They're loading up on Mr. Fucking Right, who's got some pretty good gear. He's got this range set on right now. You can see the 2 gold cups, and that's pretty good. When they've got gold cups or mythic cups, you know damn well that these rally leads hit hard. So as you can see, some reinforcements are flying around, some troops are joining the rally, and some scouts are flying in. John 4 ends up shielding. ROD couldn't get enough players over. They had to, I think, reset a couple times. It was just a case. I mean, they had the players online, they just didn't have them in the right kingdom, and they were in a different kingdom in Fury, so they couldn't port over, I believe. But as you can see, the last of the reinforcements are coming in. We've got a bunch of players, grouping up, and it looks like Sugar Froggy from ROD has come over and has also possibly set a rally on this EML rain trap. But as you can see, CND Fucking Right is coming in for a rally. He's got his full infantry gear on. They're speeding up the rally, and look at that, 4.1 million total troop loss. That means that this guy is indeed probably a ranged rain trap. That did a significant amount of damage. Both of them were in gear. I think there's no doubt about it that this guy is a ranged rain trap, but he manages to get the cap regardless, which is amazing to me. Really, really nice. Gets the cap, and And guys, it was a pretty good situation. I think somebody comes in here with like a leaderless T2, T4 solo, or a couple more one troops are flying in. I think they're just kind of seeing what they can possibly do. As you can see, Mr. Sand, I think it was Sandbar or something like that, my solo trap down there, is getting a test solo by XXX Aries XXX. And, yeah, as you can see, I'm like 167.8 million might. So, and knowing my trap, I should be able to cap all these guys, no problem. If I added stats onto what I already had, and I added a lot of stats, as you can see with my might, there's no reason I can't cap all these guys. Especially if I thought that I had an improved composition, then this should be no problem for me. So we've got Mr. Sandrack, not Sandbar, just chilling there. Got my trap sitting there, and I'm waiting for a real solo because I feel like this tMf guy is really going to come in for a real solo. He already came for Weems. Weems didn't want it. And guess what, guys? You just saw that solo fly across the screen. Guess what? That was at my castle. And it was a walk back from a 345 million castle. Look at the speed back. I'm like, oh shit. I just got full countered. 375k T4, not even T5. And from a 340 million castle with like full mythic and like a legendary Bumblehelm. Comes in, hits me. You can't really see it down in the bottom left, but you'll see in a second what happens. I cap. Now, at this point, I'm like, yo, this composition sucks. The fact that I could not cap a 340 million, regardless of their gear, is bad. There's not a chance I could take any more of these solos. I improved my stats. I changed my composition. And now, here's what I realized. T1 range is essential to the solo trap. I think T1 range in the solo traps comp is definitely essential to capping people, and that's the problem. I don't know. I mean, the T5 familiars do target the T1 range, but I definitely think that it's kind of worth it. But anyways, we got this guy tMf. Fuck your couch. He comes in, gives me a solo, walks back. Comes in, gives me a solo, walks back. Now this guy's sending T5 and T4 mixed marches. I'm full countering him every time, and he's walking back. Well, I did unlock the wedges on my solo trap, so what I had done is I switched to inf wedge as I think he was going infantry or something. Ended up capping. Brought my other counters to reinforce because this is not a good situation for me. This isn't a problem of stats. It's a problem of troop composition. It's definitely a problem of troop composition. I really thought that just the full T2 could cap, but it turns out that it really can't cap just solos. It can cap like lower stat solos, but like when it comes to a certain point, like it just gets absolutely screwed up. I don't know really why. Because I for so long kind of thought it would do so well, but it just didn't turn out doing well. Like I said, T1 range is definitely necessary when it comes down to it. That guy ends up getting capped. He pays me 600 mil. I port my solo trap back to where they were, talking about like, gangbanging me and whatnot. I poured in. I'm like, yo, you guys want to come at me? Go ahead. I'm down to have some fun. Especially because the sanctuary is a thing. Like if I lose some reds, I lose some reds. It's not really that big of a deal because the sanctuary is gonna, house a lot of them. So I poured in. One guy ports out. You guys got 4 castles chilling here. And I think they've already been trying to gangbang me as I've been fighting around to different kingdoms, but it wasn't very successful for them. Had they all right here, all these 4 guys come at me all at once right there, boom, it was over. It was over just like that. Like I think my solo trap would have been even zeroed at that point. They easily could have zeroed me. And that was like a huge, like just looking back at how easily they could have zeroed me is, I think, absolutely insane. They literally all just could have come at me right here, and I probably would have been toast. And I don't know what to tell y'all, but the T2 is not something you really want to do. The all T2 solo trap, it just doesn't work. I've been told time and time again that T3, you have to add T3 to the T2 comp, but at the same time, that boosts your might up way too much. So what I would suggest to y'all, if y'all are looking for a successful solo trap comp, I recommend going with 2.7 million T2 inf, 2.7 million T2 cav, 1.2 million T2 range, and about 7 million T1 range. That composition worked for me for the longest time. It worked very, very well. Obviously, you can only sit in inf or cav formations. You don't want to sit in range because the T1 range, but it worked very well. Alright guys, let's get into these reports. Alright, so for this first report, we have a little bit of a test march from Mr. Aries. He comes in, wounds like, 500 or 5k of my front line. So I'm like, whoop-de-doo, big deal, right? Send a little bit of T4 siege with a little bit of T2 fodder, just to kind of knock down my wall, see what I'm about. See if he gets a walk back, because I'm sure like any other base would probably get a walk back. Even if it's got like maybe 1,000,000 troops, I might possibly get a walk back, right? So then moving on to the next report, we've got Lamoda, and you see it failed. It's like, oh, oof, gosh, and look at this castle, guys. 333 fucking mil. And has, that full, like, almost full mythic cav set, only 3 familiar slots, comes up in here and burns me. 7, or nearly, honestly, almost 800k total losses on my side. It's just like, what? Obviously, as you can see, you can see my comp here, and it's bad. It's so bad because in no way, shape, or form would a castle like this ever have done any amount of damage near that when I had the other comp. As you can see, this is what I'm kind of working with, and the fact that a 340 million castle walk back is just insane to me. And now, of course, for this one, I didn't have my gear applied. I forgot to mention that in the video earlier. But, she came in again with another, almost 375k and got fully whopped when I put on my gear. Not fully whopped. It was still full counter and all. But, like, still, I think a castle like this would have just absolutely eaten shit had they tried to come at me without my gear on, with the older comp. Then we got Fuck Yo Couch, who came up in here with his, 375k cav blast. Came up in here, I full countered with range, and it wasn't all too bad. I learned that I did have to kind of change formations to match. So obviously taking gangbangs with this kind of comp would be a very bad situation, not good at all. But I don't cap. They walk back actually with let's see, 25,829 troops. Then we go on to the next one. He comes in again. And we can kind of go down here, look, and of course he is sending T5, T4, so these do have quite a bit of damage. Let's see, I think Savage Breath deals 600% damage based on your initial ranged attack to one of the largest enemy squads when 4% of your troops have fallen. We go up in here. And we took this in, what did we take it in? We took it in Infal, full countered and everything. They came after my largest squad, which happened to be T2 range. And we can see some, like, some, pay to play familiar, a pay to play familiar plus a gold watcher and a pay to play hero, Songsters of the Sea. So overall, pretty nice. You still got to walk back 8,413. Then guys, I tried something else. I tried something new. Came in with another cav attack, but instead of doing what I normally do, I just decided to go an infantry wedge. And for some reason, this happened to just cap him. I don't know why this happened to cap him. I couldn't really tell you. I didn't think it should cap him, but he came in, had a bunch of my infantry, killed a bunch of my infantry. As you can see, I had T4, plus a little bit of my range. I think it might have been the range just being right there that just kind of, knocked his socks in with the range against Cav. Ends up getting capped, and then I made him pay 600 mil for his leader. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave a comment, give me some constructive criticism if you want in the comment section. And I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace out.